The one that got the most votes by popular demand. Hi guys, welcome. Scatlink here, and we're off for my second LP. Well, my second LP. Well, it's alongside my second. It's my third LP. What am I saying? This is Pikmin, a strategy game. Quite a funny strategy game by creator Miyamoto himself. So I want to hit start, and I've actually got 3 files here. That's actually my first file, second file, third file, yeah, but whatever. I like how my middle file has 207 of every Pikmin. Now, I think I'm going to do pretty well, so I'm going to get rid of my day 15 one. Even though it would make better sense to get rid of my day 27 one. Whatever, we're starting with a new game! Intro! Jumping straight into this, because I can't really explain much until we actually get in without giving any spoilers. For those who haven't played anything to do with Pikmin, or if they haven't played Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, which I still cannot currently record. But anywho, if I'm doing this, I'm definitely going to be doing the sequel, so whatever. Because Pikmin 2 is actually my favourite of the two, to be honest. You'll see why when we're going through this. Ugh. Our spaceship broke into pieces in the atmosphere. We crash land by a meteor. Or a meteorite, whatever you want to call it. I swear, that meteorite, that meteor or whatever, I swear, that causes every single crash and start of every Pikmin game. I'm not kidding. That one meteorite. Why can they not just blast it apart? It causes every bloody... I mean, look at that, seriously. This is my favourite ship in the series as well. My name is Captain Olimar. While travelling through space, my ship was struck by a meteor. I must have blacked out, and I woke on the surface of a weird planet. With so many parts lost, the skeletal hull of my beloved dolphin is a painful sight. The engine is gone, I'm stranded. To make matters worse, my atmospheric sensors indicate this planet's environment contains high levels of poisonous oxygen, which later in the series is contradicted by only being very high levels of oxygen, and that's why it's poisonous. My life support systems can only function for only 30 days because the dolphin's completely broken. And if he can't repair the dolphin by then, no, I better not think about it. I must find the missing other ship parts. Deserved an epic no right there. So yeah, this is pretty easy to control. I mean, you got the control stick to move around, just like usual. The control pad doesn't do anything in this game, which is kind of weird. If you press X, you do this missing whistle, which we'll get into more later because it's kind of useless right now. Press A to punch stuff, which is pretty cool. Soon we can throw stuff. Pressing the Y button will give us an empty screen of telling us how many things we have alongside us. How many things are in the other thing. I'm not giving names because we haven't bumped into it yet. And how many things are left alone. This empty space is pretty much the map, which we can't use right now because we've lost the piece for that. Pressing R will pretty much give us the controls, so I do not need to explain anything else anymore. And I guess Pikmin just made it. Yep. Why does the green screen keep happening? Seriously, it's just like a little blip and it doesn't mess anything up, but it's just like a little signal blip. Maybe it's because I'm using a slightly better wire. I don't know. It's not like the composite green, blue, double red, white wire. It's the usual white, red, yellow wire, but it's a different one than what I use. I mean, I just broke out a newer wire because it was a little bit meh. That's why it's maybe something's coming out a little bit clearer. I'm not too sure. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And a single seed pops out. Days in this game typically take 15 minutes, but because it's the first day we don't have a time limit. Just saying that right now before anyone sings meh. And whoever's watched an LP of Pikmin's pretty much going to be thinking, why are you showing off the first day? It's always the same no matter what you do. And that is pretty much true. There's not really much freedom on the first day. A strange thing has appeared before me. I had barely begun my search when it reared up as if it was waiting for me. Then it dropped a single seed. What is it? Is it alive? Is it a machine? It's an android. I'm kidding. What is it? Oh, It resembles a vegetable on my home planet that we call an onion. I shall call this an onion too. Okay then, please sprout because you take forever in this game to sprout. Come on, I'm running around waiting for you to sprout because in other games you can just pick them up before they sprout properly, and before I can even pick it up, I get interrupted by another cutscene. Whoever's watching, like I said on Meryl's videos, if you've ever seen Chuggaaconroy, you know what we're going to be bumping into right here. Oh god. The seed that the onion dropped took root in the soil and has now produced an adorable little sprout. This sprout emits a strange light, and it sways back and forth without benefit of wind. I cannot help but think it's calling to me. I am compelled. I must approach it and pick it. It's looking at me with buggy nose, doobity-doo. Pointy nose is what I meant. Extraordinary! Extraordinary! When I plucked the sprout, it turned into a living creature, not a plant. Picking it has done no visible damage. It just stands there staring at me. Its shape is similar to the Pikmin carrots I love so much. I believe I will call it a Pikmin. Here I am, stranded on a toxic planet, fighting to survive, and yet I'm intrigued. I must research this fascinating creature. I shall try to grab it and throw it with my A button. I will call it to my side with the whistle. Perhaps it will react to C and X commands as well. X will dismiss and circle will, well the C stick even there, will move your whole group around. And yeah, I can change the camera with those. I must survive! I need to familiarise myself with these controls and my surroundings. So dismissing will just make them go pale like that and they're not part of our team if we touch them. Or if we chuck them away and use B, excuse me, you were in my whistle. Thank you. That was weird. That may happen a lot, actually. Because that 15-day thing that I erased, it was actually my practice file for this. And that was... it only took me maybe a few days to beat this game. Not a few days in game time. I mean, like a few days in real time because, you know, that was after I'd beaten my first Let's Play. Astonishing! The onion has sown more seeds. The small red pellet the Pikmin harvested after cutting down a flower, a pellet posy, appears to be some type of food that can propagate more Pikmin. The onion seems to be some sort of incubator. Needless to say, I must study this strange life form more. So, basically, these one pellets obviously means that only one Pikmin is needed to pick it up. If you match the colour with the onion, you tend to get more than what you would normally get. And one pellets would give one Pikmin, but because it's going to the red onion and it's matched up, it's giving us more than one. And because it's a very small pellet, it's giving us two instead of one. Thought I'd have to make that clear because people think that it gives you double, and in this case it is double, but it's not double because it's just maybe 2 or 3 more Pikmin than it normally is. Okay, so we've got 5 Pikmin right now, and I don't know why that when you're plucking this camera always has to zoom in, and I normally keep the camera at the normal range. But anyway, we've got 5 Pikmin here. They're all leaves, which is typical. I'm gonna chuck them all over here. There we go. That's one way of making Pikmin do stuff. Using the C-stick with Pikmin on your side will make them walk around you in the direction. Basically, you can control the Pikmin where they're going as well. I'll probably show that off in a minute. When we get to that box, so I don't chuck them, I can make them do the C button. And if you use X dismiss, if there's anything that they can interact with, they will interact with it. But what really annoys me in this game, I'm playing the GameCube version by the way, if that's not a clue from the custom thumbnail that I used, title card, whatever, because that's a thing that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be having a title card for every first episode of a project, so it goes on the first, so it comes out as the main picture for the playlist of the Let's Play. So that's something else that I forgot to put in my... Okay, that's another thing. I'm pressing A to pluck, and you got to mash A to rapidly pluck Pikmin. But sometimes the game doesn't want to respond instantly, and you end up chucking Pikmin that you don't want to chuck, so that's annoying. Anyway, we've got 10 right now, which would allow us to progress, but I want to go grab more food. So here's an instance of a pellet posy. If it attacks the stalk, it'll take maybe a couple of shots for one Pikmin to do it, but if you can get it on the top, instantly done. Like that. But see, On other Pikmin games, if you've been playing Pikmin 3, you'll know what I'm talking about. After it defeats the pellet posy, it would normally grab the pellet. But in this game, once they defeat the pellet posy, they come back to your team. Even if you're in, like, kind of far away, they will still come to your team. So you got to check another one, waste your time, and do that. I don't believe it does this on the Wii version of this game. Yes, there's a Wii version as well. We have much more better play controls and slightly more helpful range on throwing as well. So there's a pellet up there I want to go grab. Basically, you want to make as many Pikmin as possible. I think the limit is 25 on the first day. That's as many as you can make at all. And there are no enemies on the first day as well, so don't worry about losing Pikmin. I'm going a little bit more in depth than I should be, really. There's nothing over there, so let's ignore that. Go back down here to the onion. Is there anything up here? No, there isn't. There's supposed to be a geyser here that you could interact with your Pikmin to break it open so you can fly up there after chucking Pikmin up there to interact with once you get up there. But it doesn't seem to be there on the first day, which is kind of weird. I don't get it. Damn it. It's too slow. Come on. Maybe I was too fast even. Come on. Grow. Grow, 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 grow. Thank you. I didn't want to chuck a... Oi. Get back over here. I don't know why, but they're also very deaf because they just don't want to listen to my whistle. But anyway, here's how you interact with stuff with a C-stick. Actually, I'll do half of it with a C-stick and then half with dismiss so I can show both ways already. If they bomb into something interactive while using the C-stick, they'll do so, unless it's something like grass or something, they'll do it themselves. And if you just don't want to use a C-stick and you want them all to do the work, dismiss them, and then if they're close enough, they will interact with it like that. Dismissed Pikmin will be pale in colour, and Pikmin are under your command, or you've just recently chucked and didn't go pale in time, they'll be in full colour. This box requires 10, of course, to push, and we want to push it there. I don't know why it goes slower when it's actually getting into the slot. There we go. The Pikmin are as curious as children. They form groups to perform tasks that would be impossible for an individual. A glimmer of hope has begun to shine in my heart. If I can make use of their skills, perhaps I can fix my ship. I shall sum up all I've learnt of Pikmin conduct. Approach and proceed, blah, 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 blah. It's just basically a quick overview of all the controls, as you can see right there. If you're playing the Wii version, you have probably a better... you have better controls, of course. You won't be able to use GameCube controls, because you can't, even though we can have a GameCube... It does have GameCube slots for GameCube controllers, they won't take it. Now, you want to keep grabbing Pikmin here, because this is our first part of the ship that is required, and you can't progress anywhere through the game and not make any progress at all by Pikmin or by progress itself, unless you grab this. Amazing! There's no mistaking it. My ship's engine rests before my very eyes. By a stroke of pure luck, or by game's programming, I have already stumbled upon the most important piece of my damaged craft. Fate has smiled upon me, but how will I get it back to the dolphin? That's a clue, because you need 20 Pikmin. Yeah. And you only have 14 at this stage if you grabbed every pellet. So you want to go over here and grab the rest of the pellets. There's a red pellet up here that's a little out of reach. That's the only way you can get it, by chucking them. And even though there is a limit, if you put more Pikmin on, for example, this thing can take 2 Pikmin, the Pikmin that don't carry it, even though they were ordered to, will go, and then they'll just join back your team, as you just saw right there. But yeah, the more Pikmin that are holding an item, the more faster it will go. I mean, look at the difference. Okay, I kind of interrupted their pickup on that one. Come on, try again. No, don't all come back to me. Okay, so this is the speed of 5, picking it up. Very slow. But if we order more, you can see a slight speed increase. I don't know if it's that noticeable. But it is a little faster. It's times the speed of where it originally was. So yeah, that could be kind of annoying, and you have to always wait for sprouts, and I'll be getting into a trick on how to stop sprouts from coming up. It's kind of a basic skill. It's not even a skill really, it's just the game's programming, because it can't handle more than 100 Pikmin on the field. When many Pikmin seeds sprout, find it tedious to pluck them when they're ground individually. My wife always tells me that I'm not good at routine tasks. I guess I'll just try to get done all at once, but rapidly pressing A into A. Pick up the Pikmin from the ground, which is what I've already talked about. And paleness I've already talked about as well, so we don't need to talk about that. Large tutorials on the first day, that's pretty much all it is, and my god, I've already hit 15 minutes. This tune is so nice and pretty, it is very nice. And now we got the maximum of 25. This is what I was aiming for, and you definitely want them all because that'll be really helpful later on. I mean, it's not like you're not going to be able to sprout any more Pikmin. I mean, look, we've got a quadruple digit, triple digit, triple digit. So yeah, just keep on plucking, plucking. What do? We pluck. That's not a Scatlink musical, so whatever. I don't know where I was going with that. Get up! That's another thing that annoys me. Pikmin just trip up for no apparent reason. It's a flat texture. Come on. Ugh, Pikmin AI. It's just there to waste your time, to be honest. I mean, it can also mess you up in strategy. So this requires 20 Pikmin. We're going to put all 25 on. Just dismiss them just in case they didn't pick it up. And now we just want to go walking over here. Wait until they get back. I don't believe there's any iridescent flint beetles, which we'll get into later. Because they can give you bonuses, but they're an indestructible enemy, but they do give bonuses, so that's pretty good. But they can also distract your Pikmin. I'll get into more of those enemies later in the next day or so. This is going to take forever, so I guess I'll show you an obstacle. So we already went into about the boxes, and the reason why I'm going into these obstacles right now is because it's just literally going to get destroyed in the next episode when we bump into one of them. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different wall. Okay, these walls we can't actually break down, and there is actually a ship piece right over there, so you want to remember that for later. This wall can only be broken up by bomb rocks, which we'll get into later, hopefully on the second day as well. Hopefully the Let's Play curse won't be too mean, or Pikmin AI won't be too mean on this game, because speed and strategy is everything. Especially when you only have a time limit of 30 days, which Oliver has already stated at the early part of this video. I love this bit. I love that. All Pikmin head up back to their base, which doesn't normally happen, but only on the first day it does. Oh, glorious! With the help of these Pikmin, I've taken a huge step back toward home. My ship can once again lift off. The glimmer of hope is beginning to burn more brightly. But what has become of the remaining parts? That search starts tomorrow. And it's night time now. Any Pikmin that are left behind will obviously get eaten and killed at the end of the day, but that doesn't happen on the first day. I don't believe so, because I think you may be allowed to leave 5, but because all the pale ones that are nowhere near the onion also go back, maybe it's sequenced, I don't know, but I doubt you can lose any Pikmin on the first day. By sunset, so. And we'll get into the reason why that is as well at the end of the next day. And every day is going to be literally its own episode, so I'm not going to have like chopped up days going on. Yeah, there's no enemies there, they won't die. One day since impact, I have somehow managed to launch the dolphin. But I was surprised to see the onion lift off with me. Perhaps the Pikmin cannot survive overnight on the planet's surface, or have they just merely decided to join me for other reasons? Either way, it seems like they will help me again tomorrow. And that's the name of the ship, the SS Dolphin. Oh, hang on a minute. The Dolphin is missing 29 parts. If I can't recover them all, I may never return home to my family on planet Hockatate. Analysis shows life support systems will function for only 29 more days. How can I repair my dolphin in such a short time? Strategy, as Meryl keeps going on about, which is why but this is what made me to do this and suggest it. A dense forest is visible on the surface below. As it holds the keys to my survival, I name it the Forest of Hope. I explore it tomorrow, because you can't do anything else in the landing site. And there we go. So this is pretty much what you'll see at the end of every day. You'll see your Pikmin population on terms of a line graph. Every time you have an increase, it will go up. Every time you have a decrease, it will go down. Then it will tell you in totals how many Pikmin you've sprouted, lost in battle, and left behind in the sunset on that day, and how many of those categories you've done in total. So yeah, pretty basic at this point. You also have your onions at the bottom. There's space for more, as you can clearly see. Yeah. It will tell you how many Pikmin of each colour that you have. There are more colours if you haven't looked on the disc box or intro. I don't know why you wouldn't think that there's only reds in the game. That would be a bit stupid. No strategy at all. But we'll get into more of the reds basic abilities once we have another type of Pikmin to talk about, because right now you can't really differentiate between multiple ones. You also have how many ship pieces you have, which currently we only have 1. Parts that we have remaining is 29, and the days remaining is 29. You can only get 1 piece on day 1. And something's just fallen over. There we go. Having stuff fallen over. Okay. Yeah. And, about the name of Oliver's ship, the SS Dolphin. That's actually, kind of a reference to the GameCube's project name, which was called the Dolphin, which is also what the GameCube's emulator is called. So that's a nice little bit of trivia for there as well. So, after all that, 20 minutes worth of talking about tutorials and stuff about the game, that was a massive tangent, which was probably a bit too long for the first episode, but whatever, I had a lot to say. In the next episode, guys, we will go down to the Forest of Hope. And as you can see, we've got 8 parts to find in this area. The stars are how many parts we've got there, because there's 2 here and we can't get that one yet. So, yes, we'll go to the Forest of Hope and hopefully we'll be able to find some ship parts. See you guys then. My god, that was a mouthful of an episode.